about preprocessor. Okay, I've already created the file preprocessor.c. So preprocessor, um, it's any any instruction who who, who executed directly without compilation. Okay, when you write, for example, in hashtag include, okay, your library, okay, you have is executed directly. Okay, this line means take all the content, okay, inside stdio.h and put it here. Okay, I've already talked about it, okay, in the previous video. So we have three categories of preprocessor, okay, of directives. Okay, no directive, that is a directives. Okay, any directive starts by hashtag, okay, and the name of the directive. We have hashtag include, hashtag define, and any and more. So we can group it in three categories: macro definition, okay, in macro definition you have hashtag define and hashtag undef. Okay, undef is to remove a definition. We have a file inclusion. Okay, it's a hashtag include, hashtag import. Okay, I don't know about hashtag import, but okay, maybe we will have opportunity to use it, I don't know. And conditional comparison. Okay, so yeah, it's better to use conditional directive. Okay, okay, let's because it's generally used to conditional comparison. Okay, but I prefer to use conditional directive, file inclusion directive, okay, and macro definition directive. So about macro definitions, we have already do something like hashtag define and your constant. Okay, you have talk it constant. Okay, it's a constant, but don't forget that we have another type of constant, okay, with the keyword const. So I always put argc and my, okay, I have talked about it. Okay, it's necessary, and I can print my constant. Okay, but you can define your own constant with the keyword constant. Okay, constant integer. Okay, for example, I can call it pi2. So I can't use this name because I've already a macro. Here is a macro, okay, but here is a variable. Okay, it's different. It's important to understand the difference. So I can call it pi in a small letter. Okay, like that. Okay, it's different than this. So generally we use capital letter for macro. Okay, if you have a constant in macro, okay, it's capital letter. Any macro is in capital letter, and a variable. Sometimes you can use, for example, if I have radius. Okay, you can define your constant as variable with capital letter. Okay, you can do it. Generally we can see also it, but it's better, personally I can I prefer to use const underscore, okay, and the name of my variable. Okay, I prefer like this. Okay, so you can remove a definition by onleaf. So I can do it just to show you, but it's very hard to do it. Okay, it's very hard to do it. Okay, you can do it for to redefine, okay, a constant. Like here I redefine it. Okay, if I want to redefine, I remove it on the directives, and I can define again. Okay, because you cannot define two tokens, okay, with the same name. Okay, so yeah, the layout is hashtag define, yes, macro name, okay, the name of your macro, and the token. I prefer to use, yes, token sequence. Okay, and okay, for on def is just stack on def and the macro name. Okay, okay, I can add it. Okay, for on def, okay, so I think it's okay, let's try it to, okay, you see there is an error, okay, because I remove it. Okay, so I can leave like that. Okay, for now. So with macro definition, you can create your own language. For example, if I define, I can redefine the beginning and the ending of a block of code. Okay, of a code block. So for example, I can call begin. Okay, begin is replaced by this. This is replaced by begin, and this is replaced by begin. So you also understand, macro permits you to replace this sequence. Okay, like here or like here, is replace this sequence, okay, by okay. So for example, I can use my begin here and my end here. Okay, if I want to create a new language, I can redefine some some stuff like that. Okay, I can manipulate semicolon. I can manipulate the language. Okay, I can manipulate macro definition to modify the aspects. Okay, and then I create my own language. Like in Python we have a function print. Okay, okay, I cannot show you now how to do the print function, okay, in Python, but let's continue, and you will see it. So we have some remaining some remaining directives like arrow, hashtag comma, hashtag line. In practice we will have to use it, but I can show you. I don't know if I have an example. Okay, anyway, in practice, okay, in project, we will have opportunity to use it. Error is used to create your own fatal error. Like if I omit the semicolon here, for example, it's a fatal error. Okay, because I cannot compile. Okay, if I try to compile preprocessor.c and the output is preprocessor. Okay, it's compiled. there's an error there. Why? Okay, I have not saved. Okay, if I compile, okay, you see it is a fatal error. Okay, because the compilation is not completed. Okay, you have not respect the syntax, so you can create your own fatal error. Okay, in practice we will use it. Okay, I don't want to show you now. Hashtag pragma, I don't remember exactly, but I think it's used to make an header file included just one time. Okay, we will see it in practice or later in this playlist. And hashtag line is to make, for example, those line. Okay, if you want to make the line 100 directly at this area, you can use it. So let me try. I don't remember how to use it. Yes, something like that. Okay, so this line, the line 18 becomes the line 42. In practice we will see, maybe I don't know, but it's not really important to understand about those three remaining directives. Okay, but it's good to know that it exists. Okay, because in some project you could remember those directives. So I have a small list of common directives used in C programming. Hashtag define, you know it. Hashtag on def include, okay, file inclusion, if conditional comparison, yeah, we use it for conditional comparison. Elif is else if, okay, else is conditional comparison, else and if, okay, and if is to when you have hashtag if or elif. Okay, we finish with and if. Okay, if definition. Okay, if defined, if not defined. Okay, to verify if okay, so to verify if a macro is defined. Okay, to do something. Stack line, error warning. Okay, pragma embed, and you have a null directive. Okay, the null directive, a line containing only the hashtag symbol. Okay, and it's in your. So I think we can continue with macro. So we can have macro definition with parameters. Okay. So with parameters we will have something like hashtag define parameters. Okay, parameters in parentheses and token sequence here. So I can define a print int, okay, with x. So this macro take one parameter, okay, a value, and then it replaces this place by the function printf. Okay, this function do value of, and okay, I want to make it simple for now. Okay, the integer value is, okay, is x. Okay, so simply like that. So compile and I execute. Okay, the value of y. Okay, I have not called it. Okay, firstly test 1. Okay, so test 2. I call my macro, okay, with const radius. Okay, is my variable here. So the message will be printed. Okay, the integer value is, okay, it is this. So you can have many parameters if you want something like this. Okay, let me create another macro. Macro add. Okay, it just do x plus y. Okay, it's important to respect parentheses here, because you can have some operation called alter with this addition. So for example, test 3, the sum of 2 and 3 is, okay, something like this. Okay, it's 3. Okay, I have not saved. For example, if I omit, okay, the plus, okay, if I omit, I can do something like 2. Like 2 divided by 3. Okay, it's not a good example. I have to do with multiplication. So I replace here by how can I, okay, by times. If I omit, I could do something like 2 plus 3, and yeah, something like that. So this line becomes 2 plus 3 times 3. Okay, but the result I want is x times y. Okay, it's supposed to have 2 plus 3, 5, okay, times 3, 15, but here it's replaced by this operation. By this operation, multiplication have a high precedence. Okay, the precedence is higher than the addition. Okay, multiplication is doing before, so the result I want is altered. So that is why we always have to make each parameter in parentheses, okay, to avoid to obtain, okay, something wrong. Okay, so let's back to art. It was just to show you why it's important to keep parentheses, okay, in each parameter. So when I do it, that is about parameterized macro. We have hashtag operator. So for example, hashtag operator, okay, let me write it here. Okay, just explain. Hashtag operator permits you to add an integer inside your instruction. Okay, for example here I can add you can add a parameter like integer. So for example here I can add okay it's integer like that. Okay, I can add the integer value. I can add the integer value of this. So it is an integer, okay, but you use it to precise. Okay, that is about macro. Okay, it's not about inside your function. It's outside in macro definition, so don't mistake. So if I execute, I have here the integer value of const radius is 3. Const radius, okay, is the name of my variable. Okay, my variable, because x take in parameter this const radius. Okay, so const radius it is the identificator. Okay, I have added the name of the identificator. Identificator is this. Okay, the name of my variable. So when you want to add an identificator like this, okay, inside an integer, it just works in integer. Okay, that's an integer. Okay, not integer, string. Pardon, it's a string. So when you want to add an identificator, you can add it by a string like that. Okay, and the hashtag before the parameter. Okay, because here you just work with parameter. It's complicated to understand maybe, but with practice it's easy. Okay, there's nothing really complicated here. So we have hashtag operator 2 times. Okay, it permits you to add a token to an identificator. So it's most used in declaration, when you declare a variable. Okay, so for example I can define a macro make id. Okay, I call it make id. It take parameter x. Okay, I prefer to keep for now like this. So hashtag operator here permits you to create a variable. Okay, the name of your variable x and the token with the token. Okay, you define. Let me try. I think it's a reverse. Okay, you can define the variable int. Okay, with make id 10. Okay, okay, it's like that. So x is the name of your variable, okay, or the name you put in parameter, but this name adds a y. Okay, so the name of the variable become vary, okay, var y, okay, if you want. So I forgot to show you something. The preprocessor transform your code, okay. So where you have some comments like here or here, okay, it will be removed, okay. That is the role of a preprocessor. It will be removed, and then everywhere you have macro, okay, everywhere you call a macro, like here, or here, or here, okay, is replaced by the value, okay, those value, okay, directly, and those definitions are removed, okay. For example, here you will see just this line will be replaced by all the function inside this header file, okay. We will talk about header file later. So to show you, I use GCC, okay. I compile with the parameter, I think it's F. I don't remember the parameter in question. I think it's okay. Let me do is a quick research. The parameter to see the resource file after the pre-processing. Okay, it's E dash E in capital letter. Okay, I think I have to wait. HCC A, I have to put it before, I think, or I have to remove the object file, I don't know. Okay, I have to remove the object file. I have to remove this part. Okay, it's printed directly. I just want to show you, okay, all those things you see, it's a content of stdio.h. okay, I can show you here if you want. Go to declaration, I think. No, it is a declaration, so I have to go to definition. Okay, that's my file stdio.h. You can see the parts of this file. My user include an stg, okay, this file stdio. So in this file you have a comment to talk you about define ISO system. ISO is a norm, okay. It's a big norm, just not for C but for any I think for any electricity domain, something like that. So ISO no, not electricity, in computer science, okay, in generally, and maybe another technical domain. I don't remember. ISO blah 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 of top of C++, I assume, okay. It says C++, so C++, okay, is shared, okay. GNU C library is free, blah blah blah. You can read it if you want. Okay, it just talk about the purpose of this file. Okay, you have the definition. You have some many definition. Okay, you define etc. Okay, this content, okay, as included in my file, okay. That is why you can see that is the content of my file after the pre-processing. So you have all those functions include. Okay, I want to see the start. okay, type def use car u car. So I think it starts at I want to see the beginning. Okay, okay, let's I cannot remove the standard IO. There's many things here, so I just want to show you my old comment is removed. Okay, you didn't see any comment here, okay, because the preprocessing remove all comments. Okay, so that is about scgio.h. okay, and I think after this, okay, I have my main function. Okay, I have okay, let's back here. I have yeah, const in, const radius. Okay, that's my definition. Okay, I want to see here after print test2, this is replaced. Okay, this is replaced by this, okay, by my definition. Okay, is replaced, and the hashtag x here, this string is replaced to by this. Okay, that is a constant string. This form of notation is concatenation. Okay, so you have a first integer here, that is a first integer, and I add, okay, I add another integer, and I add the third integer. Okay, it's a concatenation, so one is added after, and okay, it's a concatenation. That is why at the end of this, when you execute my file, okay, you just have the integer value of space, the name, okay, of my variable here, and is space the name of the const radius. Okay, so those double quotes disappear. Okay, so I can do it's better to do something like that. Okay, so okay, it's better like that. Let's, okay, I can let it like that. So for about test 3, we have called a macro here. Okay, this macro is replaced by the sequence. Okay, the sequence is x plus y, so that's why you have 2 plus 3. Okay, don't have printf test. We have called make id. Okay, so make id, my variable take another id y. So I want to do something else. I want to add, I want to okay, I want to call my id with 2 parameters. Okay, the first parameter is the name of my variable, and the second is the id. Okay, the id I want to add. Okay, like it's better, so I call my my macro with the name, okay, and then the id. Okay, it's better like that, so I can duplicate it. Okay, let's remove this comment. Okay, becomes var1. No, I want var2, so it becomes var2. Okay, here is var1, and okay, I accept var3. Okay, I can stop here. So if I compare with, okay, you see here the result, okay, of my source code is int var1 equal, okay, and var2 var3. It's very useful to create a dynamic name of variable, okay. When you have, sometimes we could have to create a lot of variable with the same beginning, okay, the name has the same beginning, like var var var, but we want to add just something like id, or maybe another thing, okay, maybe a character, okay. It's help you to manage it, okay. You can very manage it like you want, okay. So you have to practice to really understand. It's very powerful, okay, to understand it. Okay, we have some properties of a macro, okay. You can invoke other macros, okay, inside the macro, like here I can, okay, just for the example, I can use the macro pi, okay. It is another macro, okay, it is this macro, but I use this no I want just to show you like that, okay. So it is I think, I don't know if, okay, let me see, I don't know if my example is good. Var, okay, no, it's not good. It's not good. Okay, for example, I can have, okay, let me do a simple thing. I call it 2 pi. I take 2 times a macro cannot start with 2. Okay, double pi, okay, is 2 times pi, okay. This macro double pi take another macro, okay. You can use another macro in a macro. It's a property. You cannot call a macro with a path, like okay, let me show you. You cannot do something like for example, if you create a variable, okay, my double pi, okay, when you write it, okay, your code don't consider this double pi like pi or pi, okay. It doesn't consider it, okay, because it is an entire identifier, okay. So it doesn't refer to double pi, okay. This part doesn't refer to double pi because it's an entire identifier, okay. So it's a property, you have to pay attention for that. It makes sense, but sometimes you can do this error. Macro works until the end of the file, okay. Where you define your macro, it exists anywhere, okay, in the inside a function, inside a nested function, anywhere inside your file until the end, okay. So you can define a macro here in your code like that, okay. Experiment, okay, to have something like that. You can define here, but it's not a good practice, okay. So the good practice ask you to define all at the beginning here. Okay, after the include, firstly include and then macro definition. Okay, I have talked about it in organization of a C program, I think. Yes, hashtag include, hashtag define, type definition. Okay, declaration of external variable, prototype for function, order the main, and the definition of main, definition of other function. Okay, that is the organization. Okay, it's important to respect it. So let's go back. So with macro, you can redefine a macro. So I have already shown you, if you want to redefine a macro, you have to remove the macro, okay, by the undef directives. Okay, you remove it and then you can redefine it. And okay, you can redefine a macro. Okay, we have another way to redefine a macro. I can define, for example, I can define the first macro make id with just one parameter, okay, and then I click and okay, okay, I search original, okay, employee, okay, yes, just employee. So I have two macro, okay, with the same name, but there are two different definitions. Here I have just one argument, I have just one parameter, but here I have two. So if I need one, okay, I can call just one like that. Okay, it's not a problem. So few argument invocation. Okay, let me wait. Okay, let me okay, it doesn't work because I have redefined it. Okay, that is the purpose of the definition. It doesn't work like in C++ when you define a method. Okay, it's just a small mistake when you redefine. Okay, okay, this line is omitted. Okay, because you have redefined it. Okay, you cannot use it. So it is this macro. This is macro. It's still not valid. Okay. It's not. I don't know if I write it well. It's not still valid. Okay. Because firstly it's correct, but after it's not it's redefined. Okay. So pay attention with parameters with macro like that when you have to do some operation. Okay, with different parameters. Don't forget to add the parentheses for each parameter. Okay, if you have 4 parameters, for each parameter inside your your calculation, add parentheses always to avoid um, to avoid error of logic errors. So creating, you can create a longer macro. So like I can, okay, that is where I can show you how to, when you create a new language. For example, if I want to create my own language look like Python. Okay, in Python you have a function print. Okay, print x. So I forgot to talk you about break line. Okay, when you define your macro, you can have, for example, this. Okay, and you can have another instruction. Okay, you can do any instruction you want. Okay, so for example, we have another okay, you have another instruction. You have to put a backslash, okay, to make it possible to go to the next line. Or maybe you can write everything in one line, but okay, in programming you never do something like that. Okay, in a macro you have to do a backslash, okay, to permit you to go to the next line. So you can have for a macro. Okay, that's a macro. So let me put it in capital letter. Okay, I call it print. It's a macro. Okay, for a macro you can have many instructions you want. Okay, like here I have 2 instructions, but if you want to go to the next line, before to go to the next line you put a backslash and you can go. So that's the presentation to create a long macro. You can create a longer macro. Okay, longest macro you want, a very long macro. Okay, with many instructions. Like here I print just my x. Okay, I take a parameter, I print this parameter, and then I print value of mkid. Okay, I print the value of var2. Okay, of var2, and I use, you see, I use a macro I have already defined here. This macro permit me to write, so this line will be replaced by var2. Okay, and var2 is already created in my code. Okay, this line is already created. Okay, in my code is already created because this line creates var2. Okay, so I use it, so I can just write var2 like that. Okay, but my AI proposed to make it more I don't know if I can say more difficult or more complex, but there are some cases you can do it. There are some cases it's better to do it like that. Okay, so I can call, so printf, I want to print my test 5. Okay, so I call my function print, yes, with var1. Okay, when I do print, I do it's replaced by var1. Okay, at the end. Okay, so I execute. Okay, so test for why I've not saved this is it, and execute. Okay, so test 5. Okay, test 4, you have nothing. It's just definition. There is no print here. Okay, it's not a problem. So test 4, you have nothing printed. Test 5, okay, you have the first print is the first print. Okay, we have directly the calling of my macro print. So in my macro print, we have print value x. Okay, so the value of x is this value, the value of make id var 1. So I have called the macro print with var 1. Okay, this is replaced by var 1. So where is var 1? Var 1 is here. Okay, I have already created a variable var 1 by make id var 1. Okay, it's created here. So the content of this variable is 10. So I can change to make the difference. Okay, 12 here. So now you will see 11. Okay, for this line. Okay, 11. And the next line of my macro is value of make id var 2. Okay, so it's printed here. Don't forget, here is just a string value. Okay, it's not the function. Okay, we are inside a string value, so this is printed normally. Value of mk id var 2 2 point my value. So this value is this value is this value. Okay, make id var 2. So make id var 2 is var 2. So var 2 at this level I have already created it. It is this. Okay, var 2. Okay, by my macro, and then var 2 contain 12. So that is why you have 12. So those manipulations, sometimes you will use it, not very often, but okay, there are some cases it's very useful to use it. So I wanted to show you how to create. I don't know if I can create print in small, in lowercase. Okay, I think it's good because I want to create a print x like in Python. So I go to the line, okay, with a backslash. I do if. So I said when you define your macro, you can do any, you can code normally, okay, like you code in C. So I say if int size, okay, I want to verify if it's an integer, so size of x equal, okay, my AI completed it. If the size is size of integer, so I print integer. Okay, I don't need let me just remove the I don't need the message. Okay, integer 2 point, yeah. Okay, I just need to print the value. Okay, for character. And if you put a parameter that is not integer or float or character, okay, it's printed or no type. So let's try it. So just to explain the code, I do a backslash at any line, okay, because we are inside a macro. So in macro, to go to the next line, you have to add it, and I just verify, okay, size of permits us to verify the size, okay, to verify the size, and the size of int is not the same size of float or char. Okay, I think we have another function to verify the size, to verify the type of a variable, but I want to do it like that. Okay, for now. Maybe later we will see the more sophisticated sophisticated function to verify the type of a variable. Okay, but for now you verify by the size. Okay, the size of the type. So text 6 and print. Okay, I call my function print 42, and for a float print 2.14. Okay, you will see a small difference between print 2.14 and print 2.14f. Okay, you will see the difference. And with the character A, I have a problem at this level because double doesn't exist. Okay, let's compile to okay. I think it's because you have to there is a problem of semicolon. There is a semicolon added here. Okay, let me do something. I think there is a technique to manage backslash here. What? No. Okay. Opening and backslash. Okay. Okay. It's just okay. It was just okay. The problem is not about semicolon. Okay, I can still add that. It's because I have add f here. My function is print, not printf. Okay. I compile. Okay, so now for test 6 you have 42. Okay, it's here. So when is an integer is printed, when is a float. Okay, here is not a float. I've talked about it. That is a literal of a double. Okay, that is why we have or no type here, because we have not a condition about double, so it's go to the else. Okay, so if I want to take it, you have to add the condition for float for double. So a literal of float is supposed to be to finish with a f. Okay, but sometimes when you declare a float, we just use this notation, and see the compiler convert implicitly your value in float. Okay, when I do something like float a equal 3 dot, okay, when I do it, my compiler convert this value in float because this is not a literal of float. Okay, it's a literal of double. So let me add the condition of float. So Okay, let's continue the analyze. The analyze. Okay, this is a float, but it's printed just 3. Why? Because I think it's format. The format. That is the format of yes, a float is respected. Float %f. Why there is an error here? And then the print of the character with %c, but I have 65. I don't know why the format is not respected. The format is not respected. Int x floats. There's a problem. Everything is printed as integer. Okay, I can just add the case of double. Okay. Okay, that is a case of double. I use %lf, okay, because it's a good format for double. I think it's not this format. Let me check in format.png. For a double is yes, it's %lf. Okay, L in lowercase. Okay, not in capital letter, because capital letter is for long double. Okay. So I can compile again, execute. Okay, it's good now. I think it's because I had to compile again. So it's okay for integer. I've called the print with a double. Okay, the case of double is respected. I've called this for a float, but it's not respected. Even for a car. I don't know where is a problem. Maybe it's let me remove this. I don't know where is the problem. Okay, anyway, we will see more about it. Okay. Maybe I'm tired. You can check in AI why those two last line is not printed well. We're supposed to have a character 65 here, and here we're supposed to have 3.14 with 00 with the zeros after, like here. Okay, because it's a floating point type. Maybe it's because this. Okay, because I think because I have to. Okay, that is why I have to convert here. I think because this parameter is took like a string. I think that is because. So I have to convert in the good type, like here in float. Okay, here that is a explicit conversion. Okay. I think is it. I think it is the error. I'm not sure. I just try. Okay. Okay, it's not here. Okay, I search. You can search at your side. It's just a big problem. Okay, you can just add in AI. You just add this code and ask how how your how this macro prints don't print those two value. Okay, don't print well those two value. Let's continue. We have just okay, predefined macros. We have some predefined macros in C programming, like file, line. Okay, you can see it. Okay, I push it in the GitHub. You can see it. It's just everything. It's just a part. Okay, you have many macros. You can search in Google about the complete list of macro. I think the good website is the IBM. Okay, list of all macros in C program. I think the best site, the website is IBM. I think the standard macro. Okay, in IBM you have everything here. Okay, I want the table. Okay, it's better to write table. I remove IBM. A table of all macros. I had seen about IBM in the website of IBM. Okay, I think it's this. Yes, there is this. You have, I think you have a complete list of macro, and if you want a description of one macro, I think you have to, okay, you cannot directly go, you can just copy the macro and put in Google to explain. Okay, in C. Okay, you can go to mode AI to have an explanation. Okay, but yeah, it's better to have a very complete list like that, and you can do a quick research if you know some type. For example, hashtag, okay, not hashtag, include. Okay, if I search for include, okay, you have some different macro with include in the name. Okay, I think these macro are not okay. It's a table 1. Okay, you have table 2. It's very big. Okay, I can stop for now. Anyway, you have opportunity to use some macro. Okay, it's not important to visit anything, to visit everything. I don't Okay, the last thing is conditional compilation. Okay, I have not talked about it. I think it's better to use it in a project. Okay, but I can quickly explain. Conditional directive looks like okay, if you have you can verify if a specific thing is if a specific okay, let's do this here. If a specific if another macro is defined, okay, like okay, I can say pi. Okay, if define pi, okay, verify if pi is defined. So if it's not defined, I define it, okay, with hashtag define. If not, okay, if not, I don't define it. Okay, for a real case example, I can verify if as if define. Okay, instead to use if define, I can use just if def. Okay, and the macro I want to verify. So if I have a macro hash, okay, we suppose I've defined a macro hash. So if hash equal to, for example, 64, I define architecture 64. So I verify. So else if hash equal 32, okay, I define architecture. Okay, and that is another macro. Okay, so if else if hash equal AMD 64, so I declare something like that. Okay, and I close with hashtag end if. So now after this I can use this macro I have defined here to perform my program. Generally, if it is how can I say it, it's very used in low programming, okay, low level programming, because you verify some things like space, memory, architecture, like here, some specific things inside your computer, okay, some configuration before to code for this configuration precisely. Okay, that is the role of hashtag if. That is why we call it we have called it conditional compilation. Okay, we verify some condition, okay, to compile for some target, okay, for some target. If it is for phone, for mobile phone, okay, verify. If it is for computer, and in computer you have Windows, if it's a system Windows, if it is a system Mac OS, okay, we have different architecture, different configuration, okay, you have to verify before to compile, okay, to have a good executable file for this target. So maybe see more about it, okay, because it's very important in practice. Okay, in project it will be more interesting in project. So we can close finally with this, and I add the exercise for this video, so take care of you now, come on.
Je fais le portrait comme au Beaux-Arts, loyal, poli, droit et sincère. Je respecte le code du Bushido. Mais si on met les armes à terre, c'est pour te faire une prise d'aïkido. Et la concurrence au cimetière, ne pensez pas mourir aussitôt. Mon katana taille leurs artères et broie leurs organes génitaux. Quand j'étais gauche, j'en ai pris des coups, j'en ai dans le ventre comme un seppuku.